Okay, so tiny little building public update. I'm gonna start trying to do these videos where I talk about the studio and how things are going, etc. So we've just March was the first month in our second year of business, and in our first year of business we averaged around £1,000 a month, and we had over 150 bookings, which, considering I'm not from Manchester, I had no network, no connections, no one to lean on when I got here, like, I just think that's incredible. I said to myself, if I can get 10% of the Instagram bookings, 10% of the Instagram following into bookings, then I would be happy. And I've done that. We're at 1,500 followers, so 10% of our Instagram followers were clients. Well, that's the maths of it anyway. 150 bookings, over 150 bookings in our first year, which is a little bit surreal considering all this started as like a random idea in 2017 and now it's a reality. So that's insane. So one of the goals for year 2 is to double our average for year 1 and get to an average of £2,000 a month, which feels big and slightly terrifying, but I always like to have a little bit of delusion in everything that I do. Like, average business growth is probably what, like 20% a year. So like, I never started this business for it to be like a profiteering thing. I would love to get to a point where it doesn't require me to be in the business as much. Like, I would love to just be able to do the marketing and just have someone else manage all of the bookings and do all of the painting of the backdrops and things like that, because it's just not something that I'm like super passionate about. The creative and the shoots and the collabs and things like that, that's what I'm here for. So yeah, March was the first month of year 2 and we hit the same average as year 1, but we're almost at the end of April. At our midway point in April, we'd hit 18 bookings, which is more than our average for year 1. So we're on track for potentially doubling in April in comparison to last year. So it feels like there's a seasonal shift happening and the industry is picking up a bit. Like, the new tax year started, there's new budgets, businesses are looking to spend their marketing budget essentially. So yeah, the biggest surprise that I've had is people's reaction when they come into the studio. So obviously we have the lounge at the front and it's nice and cozy and everyone compliments how great of like a breakout area it is, and then they walk into the studio and everyone's face and reaction is like, oh my gosh, wow, it's so bright in here. And yeah, so I think that's been actually my favourite thing about covering and managing the bookings, is people's reaction when they walk into a space that I spent 6 months building on my own. The less glamorous surprise is how much equipment breaks. We literally had a C-stand snap in, like, the bar just completely snapped. Luckily the manufacturer just gave us a refund for it, which was great. So I am now trying to shop for a better, sturdier one that also doesn't break the bank, because the one which I want to get is literally like triple what we paid for that one. If anyone would like to sponsor a permanent fund for light stands that break or extension cables that need replacing, and things that just stop randomly working for no reason, then that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. One of the biggest things that we're changing this year is pricing. So I did a pricing update in March. We've made shorter bookings cheaper, so the people on a tighter budget, students, fresh creatives, people fresh in the industry or new in the industry, or people trying to switch from like their full-time job into their creative field full-time, it is a space that you can book the space on its own and bring your own lighting, your own kit, and just like use the space, or you can add on lighting. It's literally £10 a booking, it's not crazy, and then props as well. Like, some people just want the space. I think that was the biggest piece of feedback from last year, is that some bookings are literally like they just want to use the room. They don't need all the extra fluff, so like they're paying for the extra stuff but they don't need it. So that was the biggest change that we made. And then we've also changed the resident creative program, so it works like a subscription now. The idea is to make it easier and cheaper for people who use the space regularly to treat it like their own creative home. My goal is to get to 10 consistent creatives. We've had a few at a time consistently since it started, 2 which have been with us since basically the beginning. One of those was a resident creative in the old system as well. So yeah, the goal is to get to, I think, 10 resident creatives. And resident creatives as well also help cover bookings and things like that. So the 2 people that have been with it since the start have also covered bookings, and I pay them a wage for doing that, and they get extra hours added to their subscription as well, so it benefits everyone. Honestly, my biggest goal for year 2 is to get the studio to a place where it's just not reliant on me. I'd love for Jess to be able to take on more. For us to actually like employ her part-time would be incredible. For us to run workshops around lighting and content creation, and for the space to become like a proper creative community and not just somewhere that you hire for a few hours and leave. We've also got the spring set until June. Then we'll be creating this summer setup, which I haven't fully decided on what that looks like yet, so I'll probably start figuring that out in May. If you've got any ideas, drop them in the comments and send me your suggestions. And if you like this kind of behind the scenes building public stuff, tell me what you want to know. The money stuff, the booking stuff, the wins, the mistakes. Let's hope that my update at the end of April is just as prosperous and that we stay on track for all of 2026. I feel like I just trust that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, this is where I'm meant to be, and this is my season for building this business and creating something really special.